And you know I don't really have much of a choice.
Honor among thieves, huh?
Something like that.
What is good, spectacular people? This is SOC Spectacular, back on the mic to rock your body, right? And I have not done one of these in a very, very long time. Whether you want to call it an opinion piece or a blog or whatever, strictly on video games on this channel or my other channel, which is SFC Spectacular. But I got really motivated because after watching video after video on YouTube and watching so much people get hyped about games for the past 2-3 years, it just, I don't know, it kind of got to me. The footage on screen is of my run of Uncharted 2. It's right before the train section, I believe. I mentioned that because I really love Uncharted series, and I don't think Nathan Drake has put out a bad game. By extension, Naughty Dog. Yeah, that's my opinion. You can add me, whatever. Anyway, some beautiful footage. I like it. I prefer the PlayStation. I do stream to PC, so if you want to catch me streaming, you can come back to this channel where I do it probably Monday through Friday, usually around 4:30. But that's neither here nor there, and that's not why we're here. What we are here to talk about is hype. So much hype in the gaming industry these days, and I became fairly silent on the matter until I did a video a while back, which is in my old school rules series. And I'm not going to pat myself on the back too hard, but I was doing video documentaries / essays before they got real popular. I was inspired by of all people, IGN. Oh boy, IGN, how the mighty have fallen. But their old series, All Your History Are Belongs to Us. That's what the name is. And I set out to do some of my own, I don't know what you call it, amateur. I wouldn't even call it journalism. But I just did some research on a couple of topics, and one of those topics came up was the evolution of the announcement in gaming. Now, as that is titled, I don't like the clickbait things, but as it's titled, I guess nobody would ever look into that, right? Announcement in gaming, whatever. But I guess the tone of that video was just this: hype in gaming and how it had been building up over the years. When I was a kid, which is kind of a long time ago, compared to some people's career around here. But when I was a kid, as I recall, you heard about a game right before it came out. So let's say a game came out 2 months from now. You probably hear from it then. And that was the norm. There weren't too many big conferences. They had CES, Tokyo Game Show, blah, blah, blah. Kind of back in the 90s, but nothing like how it is now. I was listening to Spotify the other day, and if you didn't know Red Dead Redemption 2 was coming out, man, you should know now. It's everywhere. So what I'm trying to say is, you should, I think the real gamers, the average gamer, or somebody that cares, pretty much when something's dropping, especially as big as Red Dead Redemption 2. And that goes along with the hype culture. So I want to get into it real quick. I think it's a couple of reasons, and I got about 5 of them here or so. Just in any order, just leave them. But the first reason I came to was game developers get free advertising, in a way. You see, when they created Air of Hypes, these midnight releases at GameStop, or just videos on YouTube in general, or wherever you see them, the hype builds, and the hype it snowballs, and you can't wait till your favorite game comes out. So that goes along the line of something else I'll talk about later. But you kind of kill your own buzz in the end when you anticipate things so far. The next point I come to, number 2, is it makes devs and publishers, especially publishers, real lazy and complacent. When you build hype and people know something coming, then you can sell that season pass. And how somebody could sell, I never was down with season passes, and I did videos on that too, but how does somebody sell you on the premise of something they haven't done yet? Well, we promise you it'll be great gameplay, but you got to spend $50 first, guy. Come on, do it. We don't. And I look through PSN and Xbox Live, and I look at descriptions, and this game is coming soon, deluxe edition. And then I look in the menu, what do I get for deluxe edition? And most of the times you really don't get an accurate list or anything. Just say, man. But by now, thanks to hype, they know you're gonna buy it. They know you're gonna buy the next Call of Duty Black Ops 4. They know you're gonna buy that new Madden. They know you're gonna buy those games. I'm not trying to make myself sound self-righteous here, but nowadays I kind of buy on a budget, so that's me. But I'll leave it at that. The next point, number 3, it diminishes games overall. You know, we set ourselves up to be disappointed. Like kind of like I mentioned earlier. Oh, what's a good game that comes to recent? Let's go with EA's Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 5. Excuse me, Battlefield 5. Well, you can go to Battlefield 1, 2. You can go to Battlefront 2. You can go to all those games. And people are like, "Hey, man, this game's coming out a year in advance. I can't wait. And then it gets here, and I think what you're thinking in your mind really won't match up to what the developer's going to do anyway. You know, I take a game like Horizon Zero Dawn. That totally took me by surprise. I think I had heard about it 6 months in advance, but I didn't really pay attention to it. Yeah, another game. And I took it seriously, I think, maybe a month before it came out. And what I was seeing was gameplay-wise, not that it does anything innovative, but the mechanics and how it works and the stuff you're doing in the world of Horizon Zero Dawn is really what excited me more than graphics and anything else. And like I said, I still was reserved until maybe the day before. I think I actually reserved it digitally. That was my second digital reservation. And I reserved it like 2 days before it came out, maybe 2-3 days. But I was hyped for it then, and it turned out to be a good game. But my point is, we shouldn't be reserving anything, really. You know, I kind of try to do my research, and I have fallen into that trap a long time ago. I bought season pass for 3 games, three times for the same game. Well, not 3 times, 2 times for the same game, because it's ridiculous. I bought Black Ops 3, and I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty. Just hear me out on this one. I bought Black Ops 3 on the PlayStation 4 twice, and on the Xbox One once. And the reason why that is, I bought the disc at first because I didn't have digital collection at first. So I bought the disc. Then my daughter and a couple of people on the Xbox One was like, "Hey man, you come play with us over here," as they usually do, and that's why I don't go along with that anyway. And I bought it, and I never ended up playing with anybody on that game, or not on the Xbox One. And then finally it went on sale digital on PlayStation 4, and I said, well, I might as well get it digital, right? I play it from time to time, but not a good choice. So I'm just say all that to say, hey, I was a victim of all that stuff too before. I've gone through it. I never really did believe in it, but sometimes, you know, they make it so juicy and tantalizing you can't help this. You know? But God what's the saying? But thank goodness for Jim Sterling. I shout out to Jim Sterling. I like his videos. He's a very opinionated guy. I don't agree with everything he says, but he's very entertaining. Anyway, back on 10. Number 4, or another point, we start hyping our stuff earlier and earlier. Take for instance the PS5 and the next box, or whatever they're gonna call that thing. I mean, I'm satisfied right now with PS4. I think PS4 has really hit its stride. I mean, you can't deny it. This year alone, we don't have to go in depth in exclusives, but this year alone, Spider-Man, God of War. Need I say more? I mean, I'm comfortable with those games, and I've always been comfortable with a lot of games. I don't know. I'm not a guy that's always looking for the next big thing. I want the next best thing, but not the next big thing, if that makes any sense. So with things like the PlayStation 5, it might be 2 years off, but look at us, right? Ramming it up. And then when it gets here and it doesn't meet the expectations at a E3 or whatever year it comes out, oh man, look how PlayStation let us down. Not really. You kind of just set your bar real high for something that, you know, and I see videos all the time on Game Cross and all these list channels like Watch Mojo. Oh man, 5 things we want to see in the next PlayStation. The 5 things the next Xbox better do. Okay, what? And if it doesn't?
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
And this is how we build so much hype surrounding games. It's like a big straw man we put up and then we knock it over ourselves. But let me go to the last point and I get out of here. We, the gamers, are to blame, which is leading into this point. We can't wait on the next big thing, you know? Sort of like chasing that first high, you know? You never quite catch it, but hey, you'd be damned if you're not going to chase it. I think that, and it probably won't happen with the advent of the internet, God help us, but we need to scale back things as gamers. This community is getting outrageous in a lot of areas, you know. From the Twitch titty thoughts to gamers who name and everything that's dying. I don't know if it's just the YouTube culture or it's the hype, or I don't know everything. I can't put my thumb quite on it, but it needs to be dialed back. You know, chill on all the hype. Personally, I like to hear about a game when it's coming out. Take Fallout 76. They announced it this year. It's coming this year. Still a little bit of stretch, but hey, man, here we are. I mean, you won't have to wait too long to get it. I'm not saying it's a good game. I really don't like what it's shaping up to be. I'm not a fan of multiplayer online. I've done videos on that too, so I'll probably link all these videos in the description if you bother to read it. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of all that. So I think there's so much hype in 2018 and probably early in 2016 and beyond. It needs to chill. It needs to die. I'm surprised I did this without cursing, probably because I'm on the meds and I'm so chill. But hey, that's it for me, guys. You can catch me on 3 social media platforms. You can get me on Twitter, you can get me on Instagram, and you can catch me on here, SFC Spectacular, or Gaming So Spectacular. All right, guys. I don't mess with Facebook no more. I'm really trying to wean myself off that crap. But until then, until next time, remember, if you can't be good, you're good at it. Peace.